him wherever he wanted because they wanted his business. So Harry was a schlub, but he was a very smart schlub.
Wow. Great story. Thank you. All right, let's go on. All right. Now we have any Schneiders here?
No Schneiders.
All right, next slide. All right, we have Linda. I got your photograph in there. Anything you'd like to share with us? About Evie, your mom. Talk to us.
No, but I can tell you a story about my grandmother.
Come on.
She didn't talk to Bessie for years because your Uncle Jack got married within the year of my Aunt Dora's death. And my grandmother said to her sister Bessie, if you don't cancel the wedding, I'll never speak to you again.
Oh my goodness.
And so she never did. And my mother told me this story. When Bessie was in the hospital, close to the end, she needed a blood transfusion.
Yes.
So I guess she must have had an unusual blood type.
She had diabetes.
My father donated blood for her.
Wow.
But he didn't know why the two sisters never talked, and I guess she must have told him when he went to the hospital, but that was why.
Oh, thank
Silly.
you for that story.
Silly thing.
Wow. Okay, next slide. All right, we have Annie now again.
Oh, I thought that she married. No, she was only married twice.
Interesting.
Yeah, she was only married twice.
What we did was we had no room to put the rest of the grandchildren. So that's right there. All right, let's get another slide. And now we have Sam. This is the only photograph we have of Percy, because he died in 1951, so it was probably the last photograph. And there's Eric in person.
Oh my God, that doesn't
And
look like
Arnold.
Eric.
Let's go. All right. And now we have, Arlene gave me these photographs. I couldn't make it any larger, but there you are. I took this 2 weeks ago in Boynton Beach. Arlene met my sister and I for yogurt with her husband, and I took a photograph. And if you think it's easy to put these photos in,
Well,
let's keep going. You want to tell us a little bit about your children, your grandchildren, anything? They live in Florida.
Florida. Yeah, 3 grandchildren. They all live in Florida. I'm born there. And we all lived there. And until I actually got this first email, if anyone asked me, do I have any family? I said, no, just my husband, my children, grandchildren. And then I discovered that I have 2 cousins living in Florida, Tina and Judy.
And so she called me about May 1st, and she said, is your name Tina? Was your grandma Bessie? My grandfather Sam was her brother.
And I think that there's
Okay, let's go on. And there is Sam again. This is the wedding photo. And Eric started to tell us a little bit about Paul and Cheryl. We don't know anything about California. So I will give you all my email address if anyone can contact them.
My brother will take it. He knows.
Good.
He's
I'd like to know
Arnie's
something.
gonna come.
Please, Arnie.
No, it's very sad because with Cheryl had a very unusual disease about 3 years ago, where she had a similar disease to the flesh-eating disease. She was, unbeknownst to her, she went to the hospital and she died 7 times on the emergency table. And they managed to revive her. She was living with a gentleman. She had 2 children with this other gentleman. And the only living direct lineage was her brother. And the Scripps Institute, because they live in San Diego, said there was only a particular type of drug that was experimental they were working with that could potentially save her life. They gave it to her, he acquiesced, and it saved her life.
Wow.
The only thing is she lost her short-term memory. So if you sit, she won't know who you are, only the old-term memory, long-term memory. Unfortunate, but she lives.
But Paul is
today.
now.
Yeah, Paul is a redneck. He drives in the deserts around San Diego, and he works for the government of California, which is
And
now
he's not
Banco.
married.
No, he never got married.
Okay. Would like to tell us about Esther Schenkel.
I'll just say, first of all,
Oh my God,
they
that's
were
my
married.
Hebrew
They were
name.
married February 20th,
Esther
1942, not
Schenkel.
August 22.
All right, there's a chart back there. Would you correct it on there later?
The other thing is that my brothers and sisters are all here today, so they'll confirm this.
Okay.
We always thought my mother was born in 1917. Arlene told me she was born in 1916. Actually, she was born in 1916, but she kept the roots of 1917 until when? Until she became 65 and got her old age security, so suddenly became born in
So
1960.
my father came into the United States. He was 21. but his brothers lied and said he was 17. Guess what? He didn't collect Social Security until he was 69. Caught up.
Don't worry, if
Caught
you know
up.
my mother, she got it exactly on the right day.
Can I?
So look at all the Sadinskis we have, please.
Yeah, I'd like to say
They're all
I'd like
here.
to say something about my mother, since she just passed away October 31st
Are
of
you on
this
this
year.
page,
It's not
or
up
are you
there.
on the next page? Next. Go to the
Well,
next page.
you're not to me yet.
Go to
you're,
the next
you're just
page,
you're
Dave.
just to. Okay, there I
Okay,
am.
there's
I'm
Audrey
Audrey.
right there.
I'm Audrey, and my husband is Gary. Is he there? Yeah. Amanda, who's a lawyer, unmarried, and Evan Turk is a doctor. My husband is a doctor. My mother was very proud of education. Lenny's a doctor, our brother. She was a very shrewd businesswoman, and I now remember that when she was in the intensive care, she told me that Annie was also. She said, "You don't come from dummies." This is what my mother would say. "You don't come from dummies. The women are very smart." So I mean, this was sort of the last. She wasn't an easy woman, but she meant well.
Tina, you, are
Any
you
other
gonna remember all
Sadinskis want to
this?
speak up?
They're a beautiful couple, our father and mother. We have beautiful pictures of them.
I'd like to have some photos for my pages,
Yeah.
so send them to
I have one in the car.
And it
Good.
really was a love
Turn the
story
page.
too.
That's nice to
My
hear.
mother was from Montreal and my father was from Ottawa. And they met, married in 1942. My father owned a lumber business in Ottawa. My father died in 1976 at the age of 61. My mother just died, as Roger said, last October 31st. She was in her 94th year in a nursing home just east of Ottawa.
They raised a nice
Their value,
family.
their family is obviously they put their value in education.
All right, now some photos I had to get off the internet because they were too lazy to send to me.
That was me.
So there's Ian.
That's
I
my.
sent
I sent you pictures
And-
today.
Well,
Can I
Joan
s-
is here, and those are our two kids. But
Disagree with you.
Please
on-
help
on-
me.
on-
Go ahead.
No, going back to the birthday.
Which one? Slide
Somebody
before.
said my mother lied about her birthday. I have my.
1915.
My mother never wanted anybody to know her age.
That's
So I said to my father's an honest man, and I said, "Dad, if she ever passes away or whatever, I'll never know what her age is." And he said, "She swore me to secrecy, but I'll tell you that I'm 2 years older than her."
And when was he born?
Well,
It's a secret.
All right, now let me
Can
tell
I
you
tell
about
you one
children
final
crossing.
thing?
Go ahead.
My children aren't here, but my son, I'm 5'1.5", and my son is 6'2", and has a very strong jaw, and
There you
I
go,
looks
Sam.
like Sam Ross, not the top part, the bottom part. Yeah, he's very handsome.
My grandma Bessie
Of course,
said
I
she
would
always
say
looked
that.
up to her brother Sam. Now I know why.
Can I make a point that,
Yes.
for all of you that have children, and if you told your children about this event, probably many of them would have said, "Oh my gosh, that's for you guys, not for
Yeah.
us guys." But one of Ian's children
back up
and
a
his
slide.
wife
Back up a slide.
care about family and have even done research on their father's family in Lithuania, and I think they deserve a special show of applause
you.
because they came
Thank you.
right at the
And Teddy looks a bit like Sam. If you take a
Yeah.
good look.
If you look at the chart back there, we have names
Okay,
of
and there's
9.
also a baby on the way
Go
here
back,
too.
Abe. Go ahead.
And a baby coming.
And a baby coming.
All right, there's one name here that you've never